I feel like the composition here from Nongshim is one that is bread and butter for them, right? Gideon loves his Sejuani. Calyx has been a very good Yone. Kingan's a great Gwen. You have the permafrost synergy there, and also you have Lehens on engage, and there's a lot of setup here. There's a lot of explosive pick potential as well. If the Sejuani ults someone, Gio hits the flourish and then ults, and then that person gets caught. The Trundle gets blocked out, can't actually approach because he gets slowed, gets isolated. I can see the power here, because sometimes you can just ult the Trundle, keep him out of subjugate range, and then kill him with the follow-up melees that you have.
But they're going to have to be playing well. And we know that KT, on any given day, you never know. Let's get into it. And already, Kingan is going to be walking out of a brush. Oh no, dashing forward. It's a little bit frightening. Some ghosts have been popped already. The hail of arrows doesn't connect, but the threaded volley does. It's a powerful bottom lane in the laning phase. Alistair, not necessarily known for his level 1.
And Cuz is here.
Yeah, Cuz going to move in. Calyx, health bar,
Eater?
a little bit of a rough spot.
Like they're like, Lehens is over here.
They're closing in, and there's the flash forward. Lehens may have found the only window to get in there, but I don't think it's going to be enough. The seismic shove pulls back the Rel. He's headbutted under the turret. He knows there is no way he's getting out of that one. The pulverized headbutt from Peter, beautifully done.
I mean, in round 1, KT was on an insane losing streak.
Yeah.
And then they turned it around. It was crazy.
Remember, this team only barely made it into the Legend group, and they beat Humble Life Esports.
Yeah, and almost beat Gen G, by the way.
Yeah. Equalizer going to go down here as Kingan taking a few ticks of it.
No flash, he might just be dead here.
Oh dear, the heat is stacking up. The Flame Spitter, there it is! Solo kill for Perfect, and Peter is looking for something on the other side. BDD to catch up to him, and the flick back onto Lehens will spell the death of the horse pants lady. That is going to be 3 kills for KT. The feats of warfare coming in. These Void Grubs going to be the first ones to go down as Lehens looks for a bit of an angle. That's a decent pulverize to try and help him out, but doesn't get Gideon over the wall, and Gideon is just going to take down the cow. So, yeah, Cuz moving into position, and they do have Gideon coming over. Peter spots out Lehens, and now they're looking for the angle. The Magnustorm connects onto 2 as Doctorm is the target. Peter's getting rid of the rest of them, though, and it's only Lehens that was able to get on top of the 80 carry. Chains of Corruption goes wide, and the unbreakable will of Peter is unfortunately going to be broken as he does get a little bit of a headbutt off, but Gio's still going to be able to take him down. I take it all back. Caster curses are indeed real. As now Gideon's going to come in and look to see whether he can get at least a flash, and he does get that. Never mind the turnaround coming on in. The equalizer is pretty beautifully placed, but Gideon throws out the Glacial Prison. BDD create the positioning. Peter with the headbutt, actually beautifully done. Separates Gideon from the rest of the 2. They say, we'll take that. Look for some plates here off the back end.
So Nongshim couldn't capitalize it now. To 2-Dragon lead here. Let's find out what Soul. Another Chemtech.
See, I knew it. And wow.
Well,
is he getting a counter solo kill as the snip comes in? Not quite enough. As speaking of not quite enough, Calyx able to get himself out of there with a sliver of health, but Lehens, I don't think he's going to be so lucky. He throws out the Magnet Storm to try and hold Peter in place.
As you can see here, you know, while that play happened topside, Calyx, the house goes down, and it's a really good combo here from Peter. And it's just in a whole house of trouble, then Lehens is the one who gets left out to dry.
And I don't know what the context was here. Maybe they knew that Lehens was in that brush, definitely, and they don't have a lot of vision. There are 5 people of Nongshim over here. Yeah, the rotation up is coming on through here as there's the knock-up onto Cuz, and they just burst him down. No subjugation even available. As now Kingan dashing around the fight. BDD catches out Gio on the offside, and he just throws a huge rock at Lehens. Gio able to flash his way out, but BDD's flashing after him. Doctorm and Peter trying to keep themselves alive as Calyx starting to go bonkers in this Herald Pit. And now Perfect has turned up. This Flame Spitter is so scary. 3 versus 2 as Nongshim look to run away. They did manage to get themselves a Rift Herald. There is a positive in this play, but the positives for KT are looking like they're better. 4-4-2.
Basically dead anyways, and KT are looking for a play here in mid.
Peter is just constantly going for these plays. Does get rid of the Gwen, who was running towards the cow. It's going to try and go for a little bit of a siege. I don't know whether they're going to be getting it here as Kingan's going to be moving in. Peter wanting to try and peel him as best he can. The headbutt's being utilized. The trample as well is so good at buying so much time. Needlework coming on through, but there it is. Chains of Corruption with the follow-up, and down goes the Gwen. The flash headbutt as Gideon is pulled out of position, and Peter dies. but he's always trading up.
Oh man, Peter is
apart from the times when he didn't.
As BDD hiding on this brush here, they're looking for a play, lands on the flank.
Yeah, there's a curtain call to come through as well, and that is pinpoint onto BDD into this backline. The Seraph's shield not going to be enough for Hens. Will trade himself for it, and now Perfect is gonna chase down this Jhin. Tokdom gonna grab a double kill by sniping him with that piercing arrow. And once again, Nongshim finding like a heroic play onto one person and then losing half of their team.
Yeah, Calix making the play, has 3 kills now on this Yone, but is going to go down. Opportunistic there.
Not there yet.
Well, Ian is going for a play.
Perfect actually going to be respecting the Gwen here, waiting for that needlework to come down as the equalizer comes on through. There are 3 members of Nongshim here. They're still running away from a cow and a robot.
And here comes that Trundle. I think running away is the correct choice.
Yeah. As Ju going to look to see whether he can defend. Dancing Grenade going to be helping out. Seismic Shove, no crash down for you, Lahens, as the Chains of Corruption comes in. Peter able to headbutt him around, and Lahens nowhere to go. Aftershock not helping even a little bit, and the Otacon is going to be coming up in 7 seconds.
Contesting this will be a challenge.
Oh, Flash just going to get BDD out of there. Yep. And so Calix shows himself on the top side of the map. That is going to mean that this Otacon does go down. Gideon tries his best, but it does not work out. And look at that. Just put a little kennel in the tri-brush, and you all walk away for free.
Yeah, no sort of trade back here, no exit kills, nothing, even with the composition that has such long-range fall-off as Gideon. I don't know about this, man.
I don't know about that one either. We get the zoom in onto Peter, who didn't get the headbutt down. That's okay, as Kingin, he's diving forward. The equalizer positioning on top of the kennel is gorgeous, but the Gwen is able to, but never mind! The piercing arrow as Tokdom makes his presence known. It's a double kill for the Varus. And KT they just have every play read.
Equalizer, yeah. Maybe there's an angle, but KT aren't flubbing so far.
Yep. That equalizer was, I guess, a little bit of a flub, but I don't think Perfect needs it to kill King, and he indeed definitely does not. Thinking that KT are perhaps a very good team, which could be worrying for the next few games. In goes Peter, Seismic Shove gonna pull back Gideon. They are just, it's a hive mind for KT here as they set up the CC and take down the jungler. Now BDD looking to get rid of Kingin as well, and yeah, he is not getting out of that. Toasted and taken down. It's BDD with a double kill. They're going to look for an inner turret off the back end of it, and KT could take anything that they like. There is a soul on the table for this team if they would like it. They do manage to take the soul. That is Chemtech soul for Cuz, and so this Trundle will not be killed. I don't think, again, in this game, as Lahens will. He is looking to go down right about now. BDD at melee range with everyone, but he's so far ahead it does not matter. That's Perfect down there coming from the enemy base. KT are going to look to remove it from the rift.
He has TP, but where's he going to go? I mean, look at all the vision they have.
It's not going to be Lahens. Lahens just walked over 1,000,000 wards and is now probably in trouble. Cuz is just walking away from everyone. He's down to 50% health though. Might need to subjugate that one back. As the wall goes down, the shove connects onto Gideon and he is just eliminated. Equalizer to stop anyone from escaping. Kingin gonna go down. There is the heroic play from Calix into the back line. It looked really cute. It looked really cool. But ultimately he dies and this is gonna be the ace for KT. Perfect might be dying for the first time, but never mind. There's a pillar. There's a pulverize. There is a cow in pajamas. And KT are looking for game 1.
That is the end of that. Atlas, 12,000 goal lead at the end. A sub 28-minute game here, faster than average, and KT making it look easy. They're 4th in a row here in road to MSI.
Perfect doubled the damage of Kingin. And I want to remind everyone of the stats that we were looking at prior. Kingin was like 2nd in every stat. This guy was performing so well from round 2 onwards. Into Morgana, you don't want to be picking these engaged champions.
Yeah, Tom Kench, he's got such a great mastery on, and it's super good into this composition. But I kind of like the Seraphine more, because it almost feels like it's a really strong lane bully, but also has a lot of rotational power, and is kind of like budget Renata with the ultimate. You know, they look for the dive, you look for the charm, for the counter engage. Well, the Tom Kench will do something very different. Last time we saw Peter play this champion, we were all very concerned that it wasn't going to work, but he had an incredible level 1 engage and was able to make a big impact throughout the game. I'm worried, though, about picking Tom Kench into Caitlyn Morgana. Like, it's great for the team fights, but in the lane, it is just not going to do anything for you.
Yeah, that's why the Seraphine was hovered before. It was like, but I could contest the lane. And then they're like, well, it's Caitlyn into center, so you're probably not anyway. And he's like, all right, we'll sacrifice it. We'll just pick the Tahm Kench, make sure that we have that for the later stages of the game.
As BDD is going to be once again the main character on this rise.
As he always is. Let's get onto the Rift for game 2.
The marksman that can chip away at any melee support, especially if those hit.
Yeah, nice shot there, though. Nice dodge, sorry. Move out of the way of the Jews. Peacemaker.
Turn. You're not staying with that one. There on the bottom side is Cuz.
Oh, he might have to flash.
He will.
As Lehens does throw out the Dark Binding pretty early. And still continuing to move on over here.
4.5 minutes?
I think it's a little bit like, perfect, what have you been doing to the Camille on that top side of the map?
And now can't even get back to the turret easily.
Yeah, this is, at least Hookshot is available, and so Kingen able to move himself up towards getting at least the caster minions in that wave, as KT will hold this one and keep Kingen locked underneath this turret as best they can. The Piercing Darkness being very annoying.
Sion is not going to have fun into the Caitlyn lane there on his own either, but it's great for Senna.
That's all right. BDD immediately flashing out of the way of Gideon. He doesn't have the Cyclone as Cuz looking to make his way in Audacious Charge to try and block as Calyx in such an awkward spot has to flash himself as BDD trying to hold Gideon at arm's length, making sure the Nimbus Strike not going to be able to get him. You can see that Cuz going to get locked down by the Gravity Well, and KT, no first bloods or anything like that, but they do manage to stave off the gang out of this lane once again.
Good vision there from Gideon, knows exactly where Cuz is. Tracking this well. Perfect is coming down.
Oh yeah, Perfect. Let's see whether he can get an angle here, as he might actually want to get the train out. Dark Binding connects onto Cuz. He does manage to take his Raptor as Gideon moves into the brush. Warrior Trickster's going to be up, and there is the Black Shield, which is so powerful.
Perfect.
Okay,
Flashing.
Perfect. Flashes over the wall to follow a Warrior Trickster. I don't know about that one necessarily, and doesn't really do anything with the ulti either. Moving over, wants to be able to steal away some of these grubs. That's Gideon locking down the second one. As the Crescent Guard going to have to be flashed there as the Snap Trap goes down. Nongshim still looking for more as the teleport comes in from Kingen. Nongshim
is going to get some alone time with this turret. They're looking for Duck Dom.
Yep, Hookshot comes down. Hextech Ultimatum coming on in there as Peter wanting to try and keep his AD carry alive, and the sidesteps, beautiful. The barrier barely even necessary as the Cyclone gets a quad knock-up. He gets into that backline. Doc Dom is now going to have to flash as, oh my god, he's so close to dead. They got another auto, but it wasn't enough. The Dawning Shadow to try and save the rest of his teammates, and Nongshim is solo Calyx moving over, though the Death Ray is so scary. And Doc Dom brings everyone into the mist. BDD going to be able to soak up the ace in the hole, and there is no Sion here, but it looks like KT going to be okay without him for now.
Duck Dom doesn't have Shiv yet. Oh, Peter's looking for a gank.
Oh dear, we don't find the snare. Hookshot does come on down the exhaust, though. Peter wanting to commit to this one as he gets the gobble and takes another turret shot. Don't know about that one, but still going to find a tongue lash, and the knock-up not quite going to work out. Kingen still looking for it, but does not get it. Peter stays alive, and that is first blood going over to Doc Dom. Disaster scenario for Nongshim.
Yeah. I mean, look at this play here from Peter as it's a greedy trade from Kingen. Doesn't have vision here. The root doesn't even land, but it doesn't matter. So he has the exhaust because he has unsealed spellbook here. Goes for the Devour, eats that turret shot, gets the heal.
Yep, and has his own healing in the kit as well. I mean, Tahm Kench also loves Chemtech Soul. And
the kill goes obviously over to... Okay, Duck Dom also seen on the ward. They know he's coming up here. Let's see what Nongshim decide to do.
Oh, BDD still in that brush, finds the Rune Prison. And yeah, the Black Shield not really going to last when there is BDD in the area. Cuz gets the knock-up, Calyx goes down.
The root!
Oh, the root is so incredibly good as Gideon is cycloning his way out as the Realm Warp going to be deterred just a little bit with that great Dark Binding from Lehens, trying to buy some space, but here comes the train. That's half of Jiu's health bar from a tank. What the heck? He's going to have to flash as Perfect was tanking the turret for about 600 years. Peter coming on over to try and save his Sion. Hextech Ultimatum comes down. Jiu going to get knocked up into the sky. Well, not knocked up, just cut down. Great game, right? It's really nice. We are going to be having a bit of focus on the game here as Jiu in a little bit of trouble. Lehens comes in with the flash heal to keep him alive. But Cuz still in the area.
Okay, hold up. Cuz?
Yeah, looking for an angle. Realm Warp to come down here as the BDD Peter special delivery gets him right on top of them. Doc Dom to take down Lehens. Jiu's health bar is non-existent, and Kingen, he has Hookshot. That's one heck of an ability, but BDD locks it down. The Dawning Shadow blind takes down the Caitlyn, and the train's like, where are my customers? No one's ready to take a ride. They're on the death chamber.
They already died. KT! This is insane! The leads we are seeing, the early game we are seeing, I think a little bit of a flub from Nongshim on some elements of this game, but KT are just on form right now. They're going to get the soul point.
Peter Abyssal voyaging like the perfect, like,
remember
that was really cute.
Remember?
I mean, technically it is kind of...
It is an objective. Never mind. It's not not a perfect game.
I don't really like it. Anyway, Perfect is moving in. Soul Furnace explodes for so much damage. Lehen's in so much trouble here as Dr. Army finds it with that last auto, then flashes on top of Jiu. Dr. Army is out of control today.
Fans at home, I think a lot of people probably looking at that 5,000 gold lead and they think that's the real story, but it's a center comp.
Yeah. Gold lead isn't massive.
Ooh, TP flank here as well from Calyx.
Oh, we were perhaps getting too enthusiastic, as never mind. Perfect's on a pretty good angle here, but so is King and Calyx alongside him. But can they get to the rest of the team before they're all dead? Gideon moving over. Lehens is out of the fight already, and Jiu is going absolutely nowhere. Gideon's flashed in. Kingen gonna get knocked away momentarily, but the Devour keeps Doctom alive. Then teleport in. Cuz trying to escape as the Hextech ultimatum's down onto him as Kingen trying to get out. He will do so. And BDD is looking to try and kill Calyx and then kill Kingen immediately afterwards. And look, he succeeded.
2 turrets went down, tons of bounty gold. The teleport flank is a bust, and I think this game may just be at the beginning of its end.
Oh dear. There is the dodge from Doctom. And yeah, once he's shot him once, he is just dead.
I mean, he's practically gotten 20 stacks in the last 3 minutes.
Chunked out and taken out of the fight immediately.
Because he did get ulted and died, but I think he gave his life for the good of the colony.
He didn't want them to get a kill, I don't think.
Yeah.
That's what the problem was. Not feeling
Lehens
too enthused
is
as Lehens. Yeah, he is. He's trying to walk his way out. They do have the gravity well, and the Dark Binding is decent, but oh god, there's too many KT members. We haven't seen KT obliterate someone like this in at least 20 hours.
Yeah. Perfect is probably fine.
Yeah, no, he's fine. He's never going to die. BDD might. Never mind. He's got Doctom. He's a healer. And Lehens is really dead. Calyx is going to have to meet Cuz here as well, who charged up the knockup. And there it is.
Just in there suffering, KT. I can't watch any more of this.
Yeah, this is so
This is actually painful.
It's 9,000 gold the lead at 26 minutes. They won the game at 28 minutes in game number 1. As Peter dives his way out of there, King are going to try and take him down. They're going to look to ignore the Scion, which might be a good strategy. They'll turn, though, as Jiu able to pump some shots into him. The ultimate just back up now, and Perfect went into them. He's absolutely insane, charging up the Q, but Jiu's able to kite this one out. This is taking way too long, guys. It's kind of absurd as he eats a cupcake and now looks for more. What are we doing, KT? What was that? They're winning the game.
Perfect. Oh, the trap.
Oh, the trap. But he had Soul Furnace anyway. He wasn't going to die, but KT is still going to win this game. It is match point now, and KT, this roller coaster has turned into a missile.
I cannot even overstate how this was barely a game of League of Legends past 10 minutes. Like, this is one of the most one-sided games I've ever seen. Like, in a playoffs, like, yeah, you could have this in regular season. We've seen Gen G do this to teams. We've seen Gen G do this to Bro.
I think nameplate's off. I think the Ezreal does fit. I think Jiu trying... Oh, okay, that's a cannon locked in against the Renekton. This is something that we have seen many times in the past.
If you get caught by anything, if you're trying to make that flank and then Pantheon just stuns you, you're so squishy into a comp that will blow you up, but that you know, requires a lot of things to go your way. And you can't even see the Rakan engage because the Nocturne ultimate is coming out, makes it a little bit more difficult to play around that Rakan flank, depending on how Peter plays it. I feel like KT's comp has a very clear theme. Nongshim's comp kind of feels like, especially with the Kennen and Annie, feels like they got what was left over that they feel pretty confident in these matchups with, but doesn't have strong synergy with the Pantheon necessarily. I was expecting, like, for example, that Jax I mentioned, because if you can win that lane, you can play through the Jax gets big, you push the side lane, the Pantheon follows that, becomes difficult to punish. It's so hard to try to index into side lane, though, when there's a Nocturne on the other side that can match you so well.
I don't think it's a draft problem for KT moving into game number 3. It's going to have to be a full switch up from Nongshim mentally to get back into this series. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, and we're already fighting. Lehens goes up, goes down, and then goes down truly. And there's first blood going over to BDD. We needed the mental reset. We're going to need another one. All right, there is the knock-up onto Jiwoo. And, okay, Perfect goes home.
In terms of gold, a win for KT, but let's see if Kingen...
Oh my god, he was already starting the back. Like, Perfect, can you try being afraid of a something?
KT will lose a lot of health bars here. We'll have to reset the reset time a little bit worse for them, but see how this did start off here as Lehens goes for an aggressive level 1. Looking for the cocoon on Cuz, gets the electrocute proc, but BD starts charm, and yeah, there's just not enough Nongshim here. Unfortunately, Kingen at level 1 is not going to be able to impact this play.
They didn't expect the rest of KT to be over the wall.
Yeah, it just not any information, still committing to it. And this is the coin flip you often get with this Elise pick, especially when Lehens is playing it.
잡았고 나이스.
Yep, calling out to go for Elise, got him. Nice.
Just having a bit of a giggle.
He's like, leave.
Yeah. Some zooms coming in here as both mid laners are getting low. One thing fun to talk about is the fact that it's lethal tempo cannon. We've seen both of these, the different variants.
He is going to get dove here. It looks like Gideon's got the full stacks for that extra stun.
Yep, only level 3 here for Perfect as well. As PDD is solo killed underneath his turret. That's kind of insane. The flash forward from Perfect. He's trying to go for it here, and he finds the 2v1. It is still going to be followed up, but that is a brilliant outcome here for the KT top laner after it all went wrong in mid.
He is still struggling into this AD cannon and is significantly down in CS as BDD gets stunned.
Oh, and the Orb Deception does go wide. He just overstepped.
Yeah, it's just a electrocute flash auto. Good read there by Calyx, knowing the exact timing of the electrocute proc.
Yep.
And then Perfect here, going for the stun afterwards was actually quite brilliant. Does, of course, have his flash available, so he can flash for this stun here. The extra turret shot goes through. He has the damage. Will still, of course, go down to the cannon, but without that play anytime soon, though. So that's a big issue here for KT. A lot of their mid-game power.
Well, there's the flash cocoon. It's come through from Lehens. A little bit of a split as far as the targets, but Peter is still taking so much damage. Does make his way out of there as Cuz will turn up. Potato can be dangerous. Like, you've seen some of these potato cannons. They can get pretty dangerous.
Yeah, I just don't know if he's got a gun.
Maybe it's not even a potato. Maybe it's something else.
Kingen 6.
Yeah, Kingen's going to go in. Does get the stun down onto Doctarm. The flash over as Doctarm's going to have to flash, get himself out of the way. Doesn't have the Blade Caller just yet, but they don't have the damage to take down the Xayah.
They're kind of in the area, but does not have enough oomph to stop this one.
Well, Perfect is going for a wraparound here, and they turn the lights off. They're going for the cannon, the flash forward to guarantee the fear as in comes Gideon, but Perfect is just playing defense while Kingen is getting taken down lower and lower. Still, he does manage to make it out, and there's no flash on Perfect. He doesn't have the dice, didn't get that one activated, and the cocoon placement is so good.
And I want to see what happens when KT doesn't have a lead. How do they respond?
Yep, Slice going to come on through there as he at least has his Merc Treads done. Now with the Dominus and the teleport coming in, Perfect looking to stand his ground. Will get stunned up as the flash forward to try and lock down Lehens, and he just explodes.
Reset.
Yeah, now BDD with that reset angle, but not going to be able to get in there. And look, Cuz actually holds the paranoia. Doesn't dive on top of the cannon, will just let him get underneath the turret, and they understand that Nongshim need to be respected in this game, especially this cannon.
Lehens is also just lurking to look to cocoon him, and you know what? Kingen has flash and ult, and Perfect may die, even though BDD is waiting.
Yeah. Lehens does find that cocoon as there is the Dominus to keep Perfect alive, and oh, it was all a bait! And look at all of the health with that Cull the Meek. That was kind of massive, but Gideon comes down. PDD now running for the hills as Cuz finally gets in. Didn't actually press the button. I think he was out of range to actually join the fight. So KT not really finding the angle there outside of getting the 1-for-1 and killing the more valuable top laner.
Yeah. But
oh, the flash! BDD, he did kind of connect the charm. That
it's Ocean!
Weird. And, okay.
So much farm is being lost as Renekton falling further and further behind. Perfect trying for something.
Yeah, looking to dive on top here as he's going lower and lower. The cocoon going to go wide this time as BDD getting a lot of value out of that true damage. They just want to get towards the turret as the Blade Caller comes through. Doctarm! He gets the 1v1 against Jude. That was sick flashes everywhere. And the Spiderling's going to tank up the charm. Another paranoia comes in as Peter gets the quickness and he stays alive. Cuz gets into the back line and now he's looking to rend them down. Calyx comes in. He's got a bear in tow and he's looking scary, but oh, the instant interrupt. That crocodile was ready to go ballistic, but they had the slicing maelstrom, and Nongshim this time have some answers.
I mean, it's always one step forward, but 2 steps back here. The fact that KT's getting these steps though is huge.
Oh my god, okay, BDD. BDD, what the hell? This game needs to calm down.
But he is shut down as watch Doctarm also be a god over here. KT is playing this game on hard mode, but making it look playable.
I mean, it's still in a really rough spot, right? Like this,
100%.
not long for the world on the bottom side of the map. But let's have a look at this from Dr. perspective. Getting the feathers in position.
And live.
Oh, and we've got more fighting as KT in a great position here. Two just explode, and the charm is going to connect. BDD is now looking to get these resets and get out. Oh, the Orb of Deception he prepared earlier is gorgeously placed. True Shot Barrage is going to soften them up, and BDD has another charge available. Gio needs to be careful as Peter looking for an angle. Tanks up the turret momentarily. They're going to take this one down, and BDD is going to look for the charm. Was actually expecting Gio to try and escape, and instead, Gio just kills him. And now Perfect is trying to slice his way out of the way of the bear, and the Annie doesn't have the mobility to chase after him. Yeah, they're going to get here, and the Paranoia is going to start this one off. The Slicing Maelstrom goes down, but he's tanking the turret, and he just gets wiped out. Gideon puts up the shield as Calyx, he can't get in, and they've singled out the jungler. BDD gets it. Another reset to come in here as he dives after Lehens, those pesky Spiderlings. They're just the best vibes outside of Peter, who is the best vibes. BDD now potentially in trouble as Spirit Rush, one heck of a button, and he presses that, and now he's going to look to try and turn it here onto Gideon. Takes a bit of true damage there from the Orb of Deception as well, as Dr. looking to chase after them.
Cuz just ults on Dragon to make it so they can't actually follow up on BDD.
Yeah.
What a pro!
Well, and also Nongshim were obviously preparing for an engage. Speaking of engage, Peter finds the angle, gets the double charm. Gideon flashes away.
Are you hiding for them, or are they hiding for you?
Oh dear. Well, the Spider's going to go up and then comes down again. And now the Paranoia comes out yet again. Gideon trying to find a target here, but they've already lost one. And look at these health bars melt. Carl's looking to try and get out of there. Gideon's baited forward because he just wants anything, and he will be denied. Perfect will get taken down as Gio able to find yet another Mystic Shot. What was that Arcane Shift? That was insanity. The charm hits, and he is cut down where he stands. The ace comes in as Dr. locks up a triple. He's 5-0-4, undying in this game as this Xayah, and they'll take an Otacon, and then whatever the heck else they...
I guess the summer of KT came a little bit early this season, Atlas.
Yeah. All right, Calyx going to be rotating over, and BDD comes in. The Paranoia goes down as well as he gets over the wall, does BDD. And Strybreaker's in for Cuz. They'll find the charm onto everyone because Peter's able to lock them all down. He won't be able to escape this time, and Gio does create some distance. Featherstorm used mainly defensively, but Perfect gets in there. Calyx goes down. Gio now trying to kite as best he can, and Kingen not going to be doing anything here. Lehens finally shows up, gets a cocoon onto BDD, who gets over and looks for Gio. Gio gets the shutdown, and now Perfect is just going to cut him down. And so it was almost a bit of an angle for Nongshim, but then they find everyone dead. And
how can you beat this team when they play this well? Like, they're playing perfectly.
Yep. Speaking of perfect, he's going to dive in on top of Gideon, and I don't think Gideon's going to be going anywhere. Finally, the Nocturne shows up as Gio puts the Arcane Shift on cooldown. He does get feared, Cuz taking some damage, but he just walks his way out. The footwork here from Gio is actually working, but unfortunately he does not have a team anywhere else on the map. And now they're going to close in on him. The flash forward from Perfect and does get the stun. They get the knock up, and there is another ace for KT. This time it's clean, and this time I think it's just stamped themselves a ticket to Busan.
Yeah, they're going to have to wait for this wave, which will buy some time here, but it's going to be Pantheon and Elise that come up first here, and this team of KT Rollster is just so fed. They just don't care. They're looking to go in, take this inhibitor out, and fish for a pick. Lehens, what can you do alone? 4 levels down on Peter in this game. 6 deaths on the Elise.
Oh, it's
clear the
ridiculous.
wave.
They are just going to try and clear the wave as best they can. This one last minion is going to be coming through, but now Lehens doing some funny business. You walking out
TP
through the
flank.
base gates, okay. The health bars are somewhat low. And let's see whether Nongshim can find the angle. The flash Tibbers is going to have to be insane, but he doesn't even have flash. Gideon comes in with the Grand Starfall. And there is the Paranoia turn. Nongshim had to go for something, but I don't know whether this is going to work as they take down the Pantheon immediately, and BDD is looking for another charm. Onto Lehens, back over the wall. They find another one, of course. Peter goes in there to throw himself away. The Tibbers comes on down. It's doing a fair bit of damage as now Cuz able to get the spell shield, and Dr. has singled out Gio and will be able to pull back the feathers, but Gio does get himself out of the way. Not quite enough there as Gio will survive, and now looking for some Mystic shots towards Perfect. He has about 1.5 health.
Yeah, Dr.'s red buff wasn't quite enough to kill him, but I don't think he can be relevant in this fight anymore as Kingen.
Oh dear, gets the control ward in. And so Perfect is going to just walk away.
Anything there onto Perfect. That's going to be sole point here for KT.
Three-shot barrage picks the gap. It's nice, 6 points.
Now,
As BDD, he senses that there's someone here, and Gideon he just wanted to do some alcove gaming. In goes Cuz. They are going to kill the Pantheon, who does dive on top of BDD, but
he didn't have ult, but that's all they're going to get. Geo looks for it.
Yep, Trisha Barrage is just going to help them. And so Cuz and Doctom will be able to take this one down. Level 16 for Cuz as well, my god. This is unprecedented amounts of good play from KT
It's
in one period of time.
It reminds me of 2023, where they were the first seed.
Yep. And so they are going to be heading, most likely, to Busan. We'll see if it's on the back of Peter's play here as, yeah, the Elise goes up and does get taken out once again. BDD just putting together his Forbidden Book. And yep, in they go once again. BDD turns back up again with that new thing bought from the library. And Tibbers is going to go down as an afterthought. Gideon also falling. And Kingin, yeah, he built a rage plate, but that's mainly because of his feelings, ladies and gentlemen. Nexus turret number 2 going to be taken out, and KT back-to-back clean sweeps to bring them to a telecom war in Busan.
Well, the fact that Perfect was that far down, and that's what I wanted to see. He's looking for that T1 finger.
Yep. And I'm glad that we've got you here who actually understands a bit of it as Doctom. And I don't think very much could bring KT down now.
They're just climbing the ladder. They were in 6th, unless that perfect tiebreaker scenario happens. They win that, they get Legend. Then they climb the ladder over D+ more directly, more cleanly. Yesterday, 3-0 them. They look at Nongshim as just one more rung, and it's the perfect finger meme kind of thing going on where it feels like they could just climb over T1 as well in Busan if they play like this. But now you're starting to feel a little bit nervous about coming up against this guy because BDD's form right now versus Faker, he is looking like by far the better mid laner right now. We'll see what Faker's form is in Busan, but this is a scary player to face right now.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Seer for the team interview translation, joined by Perfect, Cuz, BDD, Doctom, and Peter on the side of KT Rolster, who will head over to Busan after that 3-0 victory. Congratulations! Thank you. Wow, what a meaningful victory today. Perfect. Congratulations on moving up to round 4. You had such a brilliant performance. How do you feel? You know, I think because there was a lot that I had pent up against BDD, I really wanted to clean up and do well today. And BDD, what do you think? You know, yesterday, I didn't think he had a lot of problems or mistakes, to be honest. Score predicted that top will be the key player today, and you had so much impact top. And even your team said, wow, your form is great. What a monster. So what are your thoughts on your own play today? Out of score of 10, I would say maybe 8 to 9. Perfect. You will be Busan bound. And for a chance at your first international stage, what mindset will you have? You know, I've been to Busan when my hyungs were going to the 2023 Worlds, and being with them gave me so much motivation, and I really wanted to make it and be here one day, so I'm looking forward to it. And your finger ceremony and meme are so good. It's so hilarious. We love it. And you know, we are getting a feeling that your fans want to see you reenact it again. Can you reenact it and tell T1 what's on your mind? Look at the camera. Go ahead. And what would you like to say to T1? You know, I learned a lot from Doran. And on the big stage, I've always wanted to face him. So I want to go ahead and show everyone how I can crush him. And next up will be Cuz. After that win, you will head over to Busan. How do you feel? Now, it feels great to be able to win today. And It was only up until game 3. That means that, you know, being able to save our strategy is also quite great. Did you happen to see the expert predictions today? Yes, I did. You know, every single expert prediction said KT would win. Did you expect a 3-0? And Nongshim did pretty well in rounds 1 and 2. And I was a little worried, but I think we had a really good feeling since we got that 3-0 yesterday, and all the support from our fans. Just looking at our fans gave me so much energy. And what predictions do you have in the match against T1? You know, against T1 we actually have a lot of losses. And I feel like T1 probably are pretty scared of our performance and our momentum right now. And would you like to say anything to your fans? No, we're going to try even better and harder in Busan. Thank you so much. And next up, we have BDD. You are the POM of today as well. We can really tell that you didn't want to lose. In this match against Nongshim and against Lihans, you have won it all. How do you feel? I'm just really glad that we're able to have a clean victory. And you know, I know Lihans probably came here, tried really hard, so it must feel pretty bad. You haven't dropped a single game since yesterday and today, and you're going strong with a 6-0 score. You're on an 8-game win streak, including that rematch, and it must be summer. How is KT so good? Now my teammates are doing really well, and our spirits are great. So that's why I feel like we're actually playing a lot better than before. And you must win the remaining 2 matches to go to MSI. So what will you focus on and what mindset will you have? I believe the rest of the matches will be harder against the better teams. And I think we will have to focus hard on the drafts. Dakdam! Against the match against Nongshim, you have won it and advanced to round 4. How do you feel? In the LCK Cup, we lost on blue side 3 times, and I think we got a really good revenge today. No, your game 2 was good, and game 3 had some intense back and forth. General Duck, with your solo kill, you completely turned the tide. So when were you sure that you would win? I think in the moment when I got the solo kill, I felt like, you know, whether we do well or not, I had a really good feeling that we would win at that moment. And KT's form is peaking, and it's like there's no ceiling. You just keep going up. So how high will you end up? I think we'll keep going up until we are able to get our revenge against all the teams that we have lost against in round 2. Would you like to say anything to T1? Last time when we played in Suwon, I think we disappointed a lot of fans. So I want to get our payback from Suwon. And next we have Peter. You've been on point lately. You know, you must have wanted to show a lot today. So what mindset did you come with? I think it was because I was going up against my foreigner teammates. I was actually pretty nervous. I was pretty shaky when I came to stage today. In game 2, your Tom Kench and Senna made an appearance, and you had such a great showing. Tom Kench is actually undefeated over 4 games in the LCK regular season. What are some strengths of Tom Kench? I think in the laning phase, it's really good when you get to hit your Qs. And in team fights, I think we are able to actually pressure in the front line when I tell them that I have my ult. So we're actually able to go in fearlessly. How will you prepare for the next match? Well, for the next match, I always say this, but today's victory is only for today, and I think we really need to work even harder. And so right now I would say since our team is doing so well and I have so much faith in my teammates and my Hyungs, I want to make sure that we all do well together. And what is your resolution into round 4? Our next stop is Busan. But our final destination, I would like to appoint it as Canada.
기세가 느껴지는 피터 선수의 답변이었습니다. 자, 그렇다면 끝으로 주장인 BDD 선수가
And lastly, we will go back to the team captain, BDD.
들려주세요.
Would you like to say anything to your fans?
팬분들께 좀 실망을 안겨드린 것 같아서 이번에는 꼭
Now, I feel like I've disappointed a lot of fans on big stages especially, so we really want to try hard to create great memories and great moments for our fans to enjoy. I'm looking forward to your great showing in Busan, and that's the end of the interview with KT Roaster. And back to the space. Thank you.